Thank you for the floor, and thank you for reminding here, actually. So I was pretty prepared that there will be 10 people in the audience, because I am the one who's standing between you and the successful ending of this conference. So as Enzo started, I want to be very focused, very brief, very active, so to keep you all awake and finish it all in 15 minutes. Is it okay? Very good. So it is great to see you all, and it's not only great to see you, but I want to add one more thing. I also want to thank actually the organizers. So the hosts, the organizers. Why? I think it's very important to speak here in Baltics, Lithuania, Latvia, Lithuania, about the aviation. And it's more or less the same subject what Enzo just raised, the subject of regional airports. So we are small, we are quite far away from the European centers, flight sectors, everything influences us quite a lot. But if we want to have a running economy, then the aviation is absolutely crucial for us. So we can't do without this. And I think this awareness needs to be raised on all the levels, political, public, everything. So this kind of conferences are very good for this. Not only to interchange the experiences. I think during these last 3 days you had many discussions from ground handling, MRO, until everything. So quite a colorful program, but as a subject, aviation in Baltics is definitely very, very important. But there are also opportunities, as also Enzo mentioned, small airports actually, we are not slot constrained, and we have free space, airspace, and also sometimes terminal space. So you have to look at the both sides. So in case of Tallinn, actually, we are also operating all the Estonian airports. Only Tallinn is profitable, all the other are loss-making. And before there was a question that how they are maintained, they are state subsidized. So Tallinn is profit-making, all the others are state subsidized, their regional policy. This is how our model works. Otherwise, wouldn't work at all. So in Tallinn, as host already mentioned, so what we are taking tremendous pride is our ASQ. And that will be actually the main topic of my speech, so on the client service side, because we could never be the biggest, we could never be the nicest, but there are things where we can be good, very good. Now, on the infrastructure side, we are a small regional airport. And many people ask me that, why do you need 3.5 kilometer runway? Why? And actually, the answer is also a bit this kind of forward-looking. It is practically impossible in Europe at the moment to build a new runway. Environmental constraints, people come to streets, all this kind of stuff. So we built it, we extended the runway 2 years ago with the perspective that 20 years, we don't need to touch it. And if you're speaking about city center airport, there was a question that's Riga, is it city center? And Liana said that's 12 kilometers, come on, with city center. Tallinn is a city center airport. So we are closer than London City. And in Europe, there is only one airport which is closer to city than Tallinn. It's a tricky question. It's Gibraltar. So this is closer to city center. Next one is Tallinn. So you can walk to city from airport. And then we are servicing international flights. So, but the story of Tallinn Airport is this one. So we can't be the biggest. What can we be? What can we be good at? And quite a couple of years ago, we came up with the concept of being the coziest airport in the world. And it started with the simple things on the interior side. So we tried to make our security area cozy so the people will feel more relaxed. Next, we told our shopkeepers that their shops have to be cozy. So we gave them our brand manual, said that you need to follow this. Then we went to our cafeterias and said that you need to be cozy, this is important. And like Riga, we also want to be very child-friendly. And so far it works perfectly for us. And we even have our own library, where you can read the books on the place, or you can also take books with you, read on a plane, and bring back later. And all the books are not in Estonian. We even have, I've taken a book from there and said, oh, that's a nice topic. and went to the plane. The book was in Spanish. Sorry, so it's kind of, I should have checked inside, so. But, so there are books in different languages. But there are obstacles, and as my good colleague from Finland, Kimmo mentioned, so we all want to grow. And how do you keep being cozy and growing at the same time? And as all the aviation in the world and Europe, we also have enjoyed the crazy growth during the last years. We all in airports have done it. But what's for the future? And I did this with my team, this kind of pretty simple calculations. How do you predict the growth? How do you can say that? One thing is that IATA says that aviation in the world will grow like 2 times. But how do you think that Estonia will grow? And basically what we did is that we took GDP per capita and we took passengers per capita. And as our GDP is growing faster than the European average, then we can say that in the next 10 years, when we are this kind of balancing off with European average, then GDP is growing faster and also passenger numbers are growing faster. So it's pretty simple mathematics, but it's quite easier, or quite good tool for prognosis. So with this slide, actually, I managed to prove the Estonian politicians last year that the aviation actually is important for the country. It took quite a lot of effort, actually, in the parliament to explain to people that it's a good thing and they have to take it into account. But it paid off, and at the moment we have the support on all the political level for the aviation. And I think in a smaller country, that's a very, very needed asset. In all the smaller countries, it's a needed asset. So when we look at outside, I like very much the Eurocontrol slides, especially the saying that myriad of challenges. I think it says very much, this kind of takes it together, what aviation faces at the moment. So huge amount of challenges, we're all feeling it. Even we in a small airport feel it. With the Maxis, Turkish says they cannot fly more to Tallinn. Ryanair says they can't fly more to Tallinn. Norwegian is cutting off the flights. They don't have planes. So even we feel it. So everybody in airports probably feel it, and also in airlines. But long term, we all know it will change. So the Boeing have to fix their Maxis. The Eurocontrol and Commission and then CSR and the German air navigation people, they're all working on the solutions actually to make the airspace more flexible and then used more efficiently. So this is the outside world. But also inside, I think there are things what we can do better within our country, within our system. And I already mentioned the politician side. So we also started to work very much with all the stakeholders in Estonia on the growth side. And Visit Estonia, tourism bureaus, hotels, restaurants. So they all would come together and work on development of aviation. So, and this is a long process, so we are not there yet, but this is the way we're going to go forward, definitely. Now stepping into the same shoes than at the moment Helsinki Airport is. We have been constructing for 2 years, and Tallinn Airport looked like this for 2 years. What do you think, how many complaints were received from the people? Too many. Zero. And the question is why? Because we have been working on our image, on our cozy image for the last 10 years. And if your image is very good, then actually you'll be forgiven much more easier. So people forgive you. They think it's good. You need to grow, exactly like Finland said. You need to grow, it's important, we'll forgive you. And Tallinn Airport at the moment is one of the best employers in Estonia. We have one of the best brands, and young people want to work for us. We are not the best salary payers, definitely not. But still young people want to work for us because our image is so good. So, and this is also good when you need to construct, it works. So with the people in airport, it's easier. So they're part of community, they have email lists, we have the Facebook lists, everything. How do we work with the people who are contracted These are not our people. One thing is SLAs, and the other thing is actually how do you make them part of your community? They need to know that they're part of the airport, they're part of your story, they're part of this cozy airport story, and then they offer a better service. So one thing is to measuring them, second thing is actually to engage them in your story. And in Tallinn case, it has been working quite a lot. Our service level on the security goes up, despite that this is service provider who is outsourced. So on the shopping, we all know that shopping numbers is dropping in all the airports mainly. People go to internet for shopping. Food and beverage is going up, shopping is going down. We're trying to do, I think, in every airport what we can to keep the numbers, and you use different techniques. There was a very good presentation from Toronto, how they profile the people. We are just also trying to do the small thing to place the products better on the area, so the people can spot them and buy them. So some more small things actually, how to make your client experience better in airport. We changed the signage because the old signage was too much of those. It was quite how you say, the pictures didn't work. And you have to make them clear, easy, simple. And again, in ASQ wayfinding, we scored up 0.2 points. Our average ASQ is actually more than 4.5. There's only one airport better in Europe, and this is Sochi, and we don't know how they do it, because their numbers are sky high. But we were number 2, and we are very, very proud and happy with this. So on the customer feedback management, what we changed is that we all concentrated it in one. We have one person who is responsible for it. So basically, the voice of a customer goes through one channel. And the tone, what we answer to them, so the tone of the airport is also exactly the same. Not different people are answering the customer feedback. Works very well. And you need to answer people, actually. You need to engage them. So we keep on telling our partners that they still have to be cozy. When we opened our new food and beverage, we basically gave them again our brand manual, say that you have to look like this. And they did it, which we liked, and which also passengers tend to like. And for the future, as we already know, we go back to the IATA and all this prognosis, we need to enlarge. And despite of being in a city center, we need to enlarge. So I think this plan, what you see here, I think it will be huge debate in a community. Should we build a terminal extension in a city center? This is outrageous. But for the sake of economic development, for the sake of travel freedom, for the sake of globalizing world, seeing other countries, I think we need to develop this. And of course, we have to take account all the possible risks. You know what's up there? In the corner there, there's the silver thing. This is Tallinn drinking water reservoir. So basically our airport is next to Tallinn drinking water. So of course we have to be environmentally cautious. There is no question in this. But we have to enlarge. There's no question about it. And this is what the Tallinn Airport and Business Park together with it will look like in 2035. A lot of these business developments are already there. So if you haven't been in Tallinn, I invite you to come and join. So looks pretty nice. If you can play piano, you can do it in our terminal. So every day some people do it. I can show you the videos of those. Works pretty well, and people play beautifully. I didn't know that so many people nowadays, they know to play piano. And they do great, it's great. And if you don't like music, you can always play ping pong. I don't know where the balls are going, but every week we bring new balls, and I don't know, they kind of disappear. So, thank you very much for this event. Thank you for having me. Thank you for being here until the end. And for all of you in aviation, keep pushing your limit.
Thank you. Thank you, Eero, for this video, for this energetic presentation. Maybe we have a question. Yes, we have one question here.
Make it a short one. So
Yeah,
everybody's waiting. So.
Hi, Rytis Beresnevičius, Aerotime. How detrimental is Nordica's consolidation to Tallinn Airport growth?
Nordica and Tallinn Airport growth. Yeah. Nordica has been very vital in our growth numbers during the last 3 years. At the moment, they're scaling back, but actually the lot keeps operating 3 main routes. So the percentage of what we will lose from Nordica's ceasing most of the operations is only 5% diminishing. And all the other airlines, especially Air Baltic, are growing the same number. So we still expect to grow next year and be on the positive side. So, but for the small airports, every airline is important, every route is important, every connection is important. So.
Any more?
Hi. With ETOPS and dying hub and spoke model, do you think that you're going to have increased competition between Baltic state airports or increased?
Come with the beginning again. So what was
I mean, the hub and spoke model is diminishing, going to be diminishing in the future. Do you see that as an increase in competition between other airports in the vicinity or not?
Actually, the thing with the competition is that as an airport, I don't compete with all this kind of 800 airports in Europe, but basically we are competing with 250 airports within all the Europe. So the EasyJet has 7 hours of block time, free time. They can choose between 200 destinations where they fly. And if it's like 7 block hours, then we all compete. So it's not only competition within Baltics, it's competition all around Europe to get airlines in. And within the Baltics, the thing is that we are exactly 100 kilometers from Helsinki. The connecting flight to Helsinki is 25 minutes. And they have 21 million passengers. It's absolutely no point to compete with them. So they are what they are. They're doing what they're doing. They're very good. We like them. Same with Riga. So I get along with Lena very well. So, and we speak quite a lot about also regional development, because if the Chinese tourists come to Riga, they will not stay in Riga. They will go to Tallinn, they will come to Vilnius, they will go to Klaipėda, maybe even to Helsinki. So I'm looking at the Baltics as actually one region very much when it concerns incoming tourists from long distances. And when it concerns the routes within Europe, then all the capital cities have this kind of certain amount of routes because the business is there, money is there, administration is there. So Tallinn Airport will not close down, Vilnius will not close down. So every airport has their own niche and it will work. So did it answer the question? So I don't see a threat in competition or problem in competition.
I believe that maybe in the future we'll have like transatlantic or longer routes.
It will be a problem from Riga, yes.
Yeah, so my question was whether you're going to be competing for these flights.
100 kilometers from Helsinki, no? I'll make a very simple example. If I fly to London, I have a direct flight to Luton, Stansted, and Gatwick. And I have a connecting flight to Helsinki. And if my conference is close to Hyde Park, which is the quickest airline to Hyde Park? Tricky one, yeah. So basically the thing is that when I connect through Helsinki to Heathrow, I'll get faster to the City of London when I go directly to Stansted. So it's kind of, how do you look at the logistics? Is it only direct flight or is it the whole travel? So there are food for thought, I would say, in this regard.